really want to congratulate you on the amazing race that you put on last month, the Kew 10K. How did that go? I mean, I was a runner. I participated in it, and lots of my running community, running friends were also there that day. And I know we all had a fabulous time. But really want to hear from you how you felt the event. As the race director, it must have been a lot of work to put that on.
It was stressful. It was stressful, just like everyone going through their normal working times. It's been a stressful year, and fully up and down, a whole roller coaster of emotions.
Yeah.
The weirdest event that I've ever gone into. You know, you can put on new events before, but this is the first time that we put on a COVID socially distanced event. So it was a big relief, because there was a lot of pressure and there's a lot of eyes on us to deliver. And you know, as there always is, but there were a lot more eyes. Public health came down. You know, the council came down. Race directors, Great North Run came down. Lots of people came to watch us from a professional point of view.
Yeah.
And then the relief of us putting on an event that our runners still enjoyed, that was a key as well. So there's a lot of pressure to, you know, someone had to be the first, and we stepped forward and really went for it. And then, but yeah, no, I really felt as though it was certainly different. It was, but the reaction of runners and the smiles on people's faces, it felt very normal. So yeah, no, I'm very satisfied and a bit more stress-free now.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, from a runner's perspective, it worked perfectly. Yes, it was different. But I think we all had seen the effort that you guys had gone to put on a COVID secure event for us. I mean, there was hand sanitizer absolutely ever, massive tubs. You must have loads left over. The fact you were handing out masks if people didn't have buffs and things like that. Baggage was, I mean, there were so many baggage tents, loos like you'd never seen them. And you know, the whole starting pens. So we were put into starting pens, all 2 meters apart. Everyone just behaved and did what we were supposed to doing. So from a runner's perspective, you know, just getting us through and knowing what you'd had, we all felt secure. We felt Good. It was okay, because I think that's everyone's worry, is how can you do this, especially a big event or like the events that you put on. Yep. It worked from our perspective. You know, we gradually got to the finish line, or got to the start line, and we gradually, you know, went off in our groups, and the finish line was fab as well.
No, so, it was, I mean, we literally had to rip up the whole event. There was nothing, you know, that I think people who ran it the year before would have really appreciated. You know, yes, it's the same venue, but we didn't use the same gates. We walked down Ferry Lane. It was you know, it was about 1,500 meters to walk from the Ferry Lane to the start line. We had, you know, lots of toilets, so there was no queues, which was a benefit. I think everyone enjoyed that. We had lots of baggage tents. I mean, baggage was hardly used because runners listened to us, and they were really helpful with trying to help us out with bringing their bags, but that was brilliant. So because we just had to avoid all queues. So that meant you either had to almost double the amount of stations, you know, baggage tents, toilets, okay, to just reduce the normal queues that you'd have, which is, you know, obviously comes with a lot more expense. We brought people in through Brentford Gate, which was a bit longer, and then we just had to hold people in different times, and yeah, no, I mean, there was lots of people who were just had no idea how we were going to do it. And it was a funny one because we couldn't we could, but it was one of them ones. It was like me and Jade, who, you know, co-race director of the event, we were arguing and having discussions about how much information we give out to the runners. And part of me was, listen, most runners don't read any of the stuff we send out at the best of times. I'm more on a sort of a trust, you know, I hope that they trust us, that, you know, they're going to turn up and it's up to us to deliver and us to control and everything else. If we'd given out all of our, you know, the orange discs on the floor, if we try to put that on a map and try to ask runners to do this and then do that, and it's just information overload. So we sort of, you know, we have loads of like ex-London Marathon people who come and help us. And this year we had lots of people from Bath Half Marathon, Funrun events in Wales, lots of people who came down and helped us at that sort of the start line. So my old man, who was the race director of London Marathon for 20 years. So we had, you know, we had so many experienced people. So if we were going to, you know, mess it up, then they're not, you know, good luck to others trying to do it. So yeah, so many changes. So many things that we didn't have to do, but we felt as though we should do. Like, you know, our guidance says, you know, probably don't give out water. And we're like, no, this is a big event. This is a proper event. We've got people on the course, you know, who are power walking, you know, an hour and a half plus, you know, if the weather's hot, and the weather was pretty decent, as we always deliver on that, you know, we want to make sure that there's, you know, a lot of safety out there, and yes, we're going to reduce the risk. So runners would have to pick it up from the tables, baggage, they can't hand it to people, we'd get their bags, we put them in the tent, we've got some Virusol that we put over the bags, all these things that the runner wouldn't see, that we've done in the background, and you didn't need to know. You know, it's sort of, you know, if you do trust us, and you know, we've got many people that return a lot of the times, and they always see us improving, and when we say things, we're going to do things, we sort of do it. So yeah, so no, it was very different. I look forward to getting back to you know, more normal times, but I think it was a good for a first event, and yeah, happy with the numbers, and there were a few things on the course that we added this year that will probably stay there as well. There's a few things that we've learned, and it will improve the event, and looking forward to that as well.
Yeah, I mean, from a runner's perspective, it didn't actually feel too different. Yeah, we had a different entrance, and you got us almost like in segments on the grass. I know you got me to separate the oranges from the greens at one point, and I was, okay guys, go over that side, go over this side. People were looking at me going, she's just a runner, why is she telling me what to do? But you know, we got, and then to go into pens, well, if you've ever run any of those big races, you're kind of used to the, you know, red are just starting, and you're used to getting into pens and things. We were just there a little bit longer, and I must say I got very, very cold because it was very early in the morning, but it wasn't too different to starting what I would say a regular London.
Yep,
you know,
yep.
when you are standing there for half an hour before the gun goes.
Yep.
And then what confused me was we then started moving out of our pens, and we're walking along, and someone says, start jogging. I was like, oh, there's the start line. Because you got us out so gradually. We were nowhere near anyone. So the whole social distancing, it just happened. And I think, you know, as a runner, we've all had the summer to run in our local areas, so we're kind of used to avoiding people and dog walkers, and it's natural to give people wide berth.
One thing we could not account. We can give our rules, and it was so difficult because we were selling the event. Almost, I felt as though we were trying to sell the event with one arm tied behind our back the whole way leading into it. We only got proper permission from Kew 4 weeks before the event.
Yeah.
You know, so there's and even then, you know, there was an asterisk on it. Even then, public health could shut us down. But even when we're selling it in sort of, you know, information to our newsletters, it's not very sexy trying to say, wow, come to our event and not get COVID. You know, it's certainly,
because we want the t-shirts and the bling.
Correct. So it's the most unsexiest sort of way that events can sort of say, you know, brilliant. So yeah, we felt as though we were doing lots of this, but the runners were just unreal. I was, you know, there's so much information that we can give out to people. Do not diss, event rules and everything else. But I couldn't ask the runners to, you know, we did, you know, help our marshals if there's one thing you can do, help our marshals, help our volunteers, okay, by listening to what they're saying. And if they ask you to do something, they're doing it for a reason. I sort of said this to our marshals, you know, listen, blame it on me, because, you know, we try and plan this on a Google map, try and visualize this, but what we couldn't visualize was how good our runners were, all wearing masks. Yes, we asked them to, but it wasn't a legal requirement, but that added to making it all feel really safe. It was a lot longer, because when we factor in telling people to turn up at certain times, one, we factor that everyone's going to be late. Two, we're factoring toilet queues, baggage queues. So when them queues were a lot less, because we've provided a lot more toilets and things, it provides more time and space. And because it was a little bit earlier, and because of certain things, we weren't, some of the music atmosphere, we weren't able to do that this year, which we will be able to next year. Yeah. But there was just a few things like that where, you know, just to get us going. But it was, as I said, listen, I couldn't have asked anything more. The runners were amazing, and I think they felt the enormity of the event as well. You know, without
we feel thank you. I mean, you must have had so many.
Hey, you're the paying customer. You don't say thank you to me.
But it was like bringing some normality back into this weird world of, you know, it was like, thank you for being normal. You know, we had one weekend, 1 hour or so where we could feel relatively normal. Yeah. Although it was abnormal, but it felt, you know, you could see people you haven't seen for 6 months, because they're the people you see at races. That's what was important, I think, to us. It's like bringing the community together at a socially distanced distance.
Absolutely. No, it was all great for us. And but though, you know, we had some medal problems. You know, literally the medals had arrived 10 days before, stuck behind PPE. We even offered, we tried to offer a bit of cash to get them out a little bit earlier, and they said, listen, no chance, the PPE's got priority here and that. And, you know, they arrived. They arrived, you know, I should have said, you know, our runners are trained for this, okay, and we did all our best, but, you know, it arrived on Tuesday, you know, literally like 2 days, 3 days after the event. It was just one of them years, but even our runners were so, you know, thankful for and patient with it. You know, everyone was like, listen, don't worry, we believe you, and you know, yeah. So no, it was very good, and it sets us up nicely for next year, and hopefully sets us up for other races and other park runs to hopefully come back soon as well. So I think it was a victory for the sport, victory for runners, and sets us up nicely for 2021.